Hello everybody and welcome back to Belle's channel, and today we are going to be exploring Monarch. In the last episode I travelled over there, and as soon as we got there Ada said there was an not an emergency transmission, but there's going to be a communication call, so we're going to jump straight into that. If you hear some weird noises next to me, it's because of my dog. She's lying down and going to sleep. So let's play.
The eternal is in us all. The OSI would have you believe that your place in society, indeed in the universe, is preordained. A man who works in the mines of Hephaestus, coating his lungs in mercury dust for not but a few bits a night. This fate is set in stone? When he dies young, coughing up black blood, his part in a grand plan? No, I say. Greatness is in everyone. Not just those so fortunate as to have been born into prosperity.
That was unexpected and odd.
And true. Sounds interesting. I'd like to hear more.
Considering the origins of the transmission, I imagine you may have such an opportunity when we visit Monarch, Captain.
Right. I'll be back. That's beautiful. Hopefully, like, that's just the planet. It might be Jupiter or something. And that's the actual planet. Monarch probably is quite small. Anyway, let's go. I was expecting someone to be there then. So we need... Okay, so sorry. Hold on. So we've got this. We need to speak to Nakoa at Stellar Bay, which is where we are. We need to find the missing passcode at Stellar Bay for the sublight shipping or something. We've also need to get a dustback casserole at Stellar Bay for can't remember her name. And we also need to track down Reginald Chorney for Vicar Baxter. He's at Fort Brook on Monarch, so we'll take Privata, and we will take the Vicar Max, which I think is alright, to be honest. Monarch. Ooh. Looks kind of like Mad Maxy. Or... Oh, where else have I seen this town? I don't know. Maybe Riddick? So really, sorry, I'm just having a thought. The Hope, which was our colony ship, is like memorialised. Everything. Alright, so I just got a trophy called Something's Fishy. I was right, that is the small planet. So this is Stellar Bay. It's a pretty big town by the looks of it. Bigger than Edgewater. I wonder what the capital Brazanium is going to look like. Alright, so Stellar Bay. Let's get off the landing pad. So we've got various places to go. We can go speak to Nayoka. We can... I think we'll go get this first. Don't bite the sun. We'll go get that casserole dish. First. How... Grim. How do I... Oh my god, it's an elevator. That's cool. So he wants to have a word with me.
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you in. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right?
Yeah. Well, that is my ship and I don't know anything.
I knew it. See, I made what you call a logical deduction. You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off.
What are they doing out there?
You may not have heard, You being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-world traffic. Us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna in Halcyon. Please state your name for the records.
Captain Bell.
Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill.
Jesus, is Stellar Bay really that isolated?
We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago.
Why? You're not what I expect to find on Monarch.
Oh, that'll just make Mr. Sanjar's day if you tell him. The board makes up lots of nasty stories about raptidons and cannibals and whatnot. But that's all outside our walls. Mostly.
Mostly. Why are you saying the board's been lying about this place?
Oh, sure. It makes Stellar Bay sound like a rotten place, but it's not so bad. Get a good breeze going, and the sulfur smell mostly covers up the fishy smell.
Ah, the nostalgic stench of home. Can't say I miss the day-to-day of living in Edgewater.
Anyway, Mr. Sanjar's got lots to say on that subject. Kinda goes over my head, though.
Okay, I'm gonna have a look around town.
Mr. Sanjar will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor?
That depends on what it is.
I got this Rizzo's Rangers Tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in?
Sure, I can ask about your poster.
Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
Okay, that must be the bar, the Yacht Club. That must be the OSI building.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the punch clock peels, a worker earns his meals.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I thought you were quoting It's a Wonderful Directory.
Wrapped musk and painted eyes, right here.
Please, will someone help me? My boy's in trouble. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong, like my little boy isn't at risk of being eaten by some vile creature. Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh, I just know a raptidon is melting him with acid as we speak. Don't you tell me to calm down. I promised my boy I'd protect him for always. But how can I keep him safe if he's run away? He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the raptidons, mantisaurs, and marauders, the toxic sulfur pools, and poisonous plants, but he didn't listen.
Oh, law, Captain. A youngster won't last long in a place like this. Please, can't we help?
Please, won't you go and find my boy?
I'll go help find your son.
Thank you. Oh, I know he'll be safe now that someone's able to fetch him home. You look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road southwest of town. I'm sure he made it that far. I just know it. And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch them in the mouth. Tell them what I think of them luring little boys away from their mamas. It's immoral.
Oh, alright, well, Jesus. Monarch it's Monarch Stellar Industries. They're like the biggest, well, not the biggest, but they're like competitors to the board. And obviously the board has a lot of standing in a lot of places, so you know they don't do very well. Where am I supposed to be going for this? Oh, it's down there. Alright, so that's where that main dude is.
Help! Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick.
What?
No! I just stepped in a dead man's blood. And I think one of the flies landed on my mouth. If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse...
The lower one on the right. What the fuck?
Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
What a gruesome way to die.
Yeah, let's nick all these mag pigs out of his room. Victim. It's a dude. Looks semi-old. Oh no, young. Blood spatter at the walls. I'm stepping over the remains. I didn't see a metal weapon though, so. His bedding was some incredible bold way he's made from a team called Mostly Colonists. From left field tossing Betty. Hastily packaged suitcase, several ragged outfits, all the same cut and colour were stuffed in this suitcase. So he was probably killed due to betting. Anyway, let's pop to this diner.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit. Most people don't. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves.
Why?
Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rap spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying.
Can you cook one of those?
That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back. Before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain.
Jesus Christ. You can take me through it. No, don't cost us worth it. Try again. Try harder.
No, Captain, I
Ow.
don't want you to do it this way.
It's all right, miss. I'm a coward at heart. Made that clear from the outset. Look, Captain. This is the best I can do without putting myself out of business. I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it.
So you need
That's just
2,000
how
at
cooking
least.
works. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to help such a... You're a gentle soul, miss. Be careful with this one, all right? She's kind of a brute.
Hey,
Oh, gosh. My tongue's rumbling just smelling that casserole.
I just saved myself 1,000 bits. I'm keeping that. Alrighty, so we got that. Where is... Jesus, Monarch is quite big. So we're here. All over there to get to Monarch, to Fallbrook. So we'll just leave that for now. And that's where the Cascade place is. The Cascadia. Anyway. So that's where he could have run off to. We'll do that one, and then we'll do the murder one.
I had a question about your plan, Mr. Vicker.
Of course. The cosmos is generated and directed by the universal equation, also known as...
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir. Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today?
Or is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse, and then said you wasn't fixing it fast enough, so he's docking your wages again? Not that I got any prior experience with such.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really. So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else.
I reckon she's got a little bit of a squish on this fella.
Sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff, and some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell.
Maybe I could talk to him for you.
Would you? I'd appreciate that so much. Maybe don't tell him I wanted you to ask. Just that you met this really nice lady named Celia, and she seemed... Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises. Sorry, sometimes I get... Have you talked to Sebastian yet?
Green one that's right.
You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grimm wore her patience thin a long time ago.
That sounds unneeded.
New business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
What?
Yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse. How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself?
I'm looking for the information broker. I'm charting my own path. Going where the wind takes me.
What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Alcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Hey, it could always be both.
Now, there's no need to humor me. I'm used to this particular letdown.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
Mr. Vicar, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think that means anything.
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
So what do you want me to do about it?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Returning to the board is your only chance if you hope to survive here on Monarch. That doesn't mean it'll be easily achievable.
Indeed not. No worthwhile plan was ever simple. That's what I always say.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
The lady knows what's going on.
It's true. Our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended. With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
This Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. These days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
And then I guess I'll get your beef too.
I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Before I go, I need to
What can I do for you?
I'm looking for an
Hiram?
broker.
Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate.
How do I get Devil's
You'd
Peak?
head south along the road and look for a mountain to the west. Not that I'd advise it. It's a terribly dangerous trek. But if you insist on going, I'd recommend taking a local guide. Nyoka would be a prime candidate.
If you can keep her sober.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
He did a bang-up job.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you?
And they
Then
all
it's good
got
that I keep such meticulous...
How did the Embassy get up to the
I've
board?
asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
So, you mean that you initiated your own?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. Back then, it was known as Terra 1.
What happened to the other?
As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost cause. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Ms. Holcomb is our endlessly optimistic crew hand. It's good for the captain's morale.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms. No, they laughed in our faces and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else. Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages. I don't think I realized how far they'd stoop. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently. What can I do for you?
Alright, I think we're going to do this the stainless steel rat. I feel like it's...
Hey, Mr. Vicker, do you ever get a little bit homesick for Edgewater? For that ocean stink?
No, I do not.
You're supposed to say yes. I want to explain why. I just want to have a conversation.
Of course you do.
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeinoid.
Don't be so hard on her. With Brack's missing, she's working doubles and needs a little edge.
Very well, dearie. But you stop by any time you like. Hmm?
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Velma's gonna be extra cranky if she doesn't get her caffeine.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. And with sweet cheeks like those, I'd remember.
She's a bit promiscuous.
What can Auntie Abigail do? She works over at the fishery next door. Quite the hard worker, but she's got a bit of a temper. Why, just the other day, I heard her shouting from here. I can't imagine what set her off. Oh, but here I go again, running my mouth with... Yes, indeed. Someone's got to keep Stellar Bay's people healthy and energized. Oh, but I am. I get to see...
Okay. I think it's round the back. Here it is. Left field, toss ball betting. Wow.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial H Mammoths. That's a shame. Tossball's just about the only good news we get around here. When our frequency's not too clogged up anyway. So, what can I do for you?
So there's better slip in the in a dead man's apartment and what could happen to him.
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth.
I'm listening.
Right. So the thing with Isaac is he didn't know where to stop. He'd get stuck on something, and he just couldn't let it go. Sometimes he'd drink Purpleberry Punch by the liter. Other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. Started owing the wrong people money.
Who did he
I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them.
Thanks for the tip.
Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
Investigate Elijah and his gang. So let's go to the yacht club. And let's get behind that.
She's always cranky. No.
That's Velma.
More than usual. Good enough. I made it a point. Step lively, Ms. Holcomb.
I'm not winded. Honest. My, boot was untied.
Would hate for you to get left behind, or architect forbid, become lost.
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those crates to market. Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business.
Intimidate. I'm making it my business.
Oh yeah? What are you saying exactly?
You bullied people long enough. If you know what's good for you, you clear out and never come back.
Wow. Most of the pencil pushers around here cave as soon as you look at them funny. Fine, we're going. This ain't worth it.
Huh?
So, a secret alley. How the fuck do they get back out of it? Now we should go and speak to Sanja. I think that's his name.
A fine day for business, isn't it? Anyway, what can I do for you?
Isaac Rose is dead. I found out who killed him.
That's terrible. What happened?
It was Elijah and his... Yeah, I ran the map down.
I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually.
So one person just has to get killed. Of course you would have.
Of course I would have. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider this payment for your services.
I've got to go. Of course he would have. So yeah, thank you for watching this episode. In the next episode we're probably going to find that Tucker Needham, maybe speak with Velma at the warehouse, probably that first, and probably find the missing passcode, retrieve the information he's holding on and deliver it. Yeah, so probably, no, actually probably not do that. So yeah, probably the Grim Tomorrow, A Family Matter, and you know, we'll go from there. So thank you for watching. This is Belle, and goodbye.